number J. Oh, that's your twin, I see. Makes sense. Keep this hand. I kind of want to go Triome into have basically perfect mana at that point. I kind of want to maybe keep the basic mountain to deal myself less damage. That could maybe make it hard for me to cast Cryptic Command. I'm gonna put back Scalding Tarn. We'll be fine. Doing well, Shane. How are you doing? Good morning, Johnny. I love seeing a Temple of Enlightenment. That usually means we're playing against Ad Nauseam, which is just a very good matchup. Nice, solid matchup to start the day off. And we drew a Force. I will just go ahead and Wildfire that. They put a card on top, so we get to mess with the Scry. It's not 100% to be Ad Nauseam. Like, I suppose like this is a legal card you can put in other decks, but it's most likely Ad Naz. Last time I played against them, they showed me 2 basic planes, which I felt like was a lot of basic planes. I thought, I was under the impression it used to be like 1 planes and 1 island. Would I have not fired it off? I would have just cycled the Wildfire here, no matter what they would have done with it. We don't have a Flagstones in our hand, and so I guess it is doing something in that it can, we can up a draw step it with Teferi, but I would just like cycle it no matter what. Yeah, super good matchup. Just gonna bounce the Unlife. Yeah, Teferi is really, really solid in the matchup. We have double Force of Negation now. The John, 6 months in a row. Welcome back. Happy year. Watching Jake play competitively. Hell yeah. Maybe that's a good tagline for the channel. Yeah, I was just kind of noting the fact that it also was messing with the Scry. I don't think I'm gonna remand the Unlife on the way down. I think I'm just gonna make a 2/2 Shark and get some pressure into play, and then in like 2 turns we can just bounce this again with Teferi, or later. Sorry, a little too quiet. Rovis, 8 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Glad you keep coming back, bud. Sub baby is almost born. So I'll probably like snap Wildfire my own Flagstones end of turn just to continue to get that mana advantage. Although Ad Nauseam usually only plays 2 or 3 basics, so we could maybe try to start Stone Raining. I think I'm happy enough to Snapcaster target Wildfire here. Remember, we have a Teferi plus, so Wildfire can be cast at instant speed now. Awesome, Zajad. Very cool. I do think that deck is really good. I think it's the deck to beat, the best deck in Modern probably right now. She's gonna be a shark. Took the Remand. If they go like top, maybe I should just Wildfire them. They did go top. So I guess we Wildfire them. They should have 1 or 2 more basics. They might be choosing not to use the Wildfire ability though. That way they can keep the cards on top, and that is what they do. Very interesting. So that can be used to Mystic Sanctuary back Remand, and then we can Jace with Remand and Force of Negation up. Sounds like a win to me. Remand, and I guess only one force up, yeah. I mean, we could double force if we don't want to remand. Is the red-black Scourge deck similar to the Pioneer and Historic Rakdos Pyromancer? Maybe a little bit. But they would play kind of like traditional red prowess strategies if you're familiar with those. Yeah, maybe a little familiar. Or similar, rather. I don't think we're going to play anything here. Didn't want to Fate Steal the second scry. Nah, you get Brainstorm is pretty good. There's really no way we can lose this game. All roads lead to Rome, as I like to say. We're just gonna play a Snapcaster and bounce the other Unlife, and we have the fun Raveler in play. But look how good our hand got after we brainstormed, especially with 2 forces in your hand. Just like getting that density of blue cards, really nice. And things even get a little better for us post board. Their sideboard play right now is the double white card that says players can't cast spells or activate abilities in your opponent's turn. Or, yeah. So we need to leave in some number of removable spells for that card. Anna Zim, thank you for Twitch Prime. Love to see a new subscriber. Thank you. Dispute isn't great, but I think it's better than like the 4th removal spell for one of those cards. That's what we'd be playing instead. Yeah. Silent Arbiter? It doesn't sound right. No, it's not Silent Arbiter. Good morning, cheese. It is something Arbiter. Maybe it's Grand Abolisher, actually. Grand Abolisher, yes. Human Cleric 2/2. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. So you have to have a few ways to answer that. Don't think it's good to be overloaded, but I think the 3 bolts are fine. How is running Nexus felt? I've won every sideboard game against Mill having a Nexus in my sideboard so far. My sample size isn't super big, but it has helped that matchup a lot. The cost of playing 1 card for what is a pretty popular deck Mill, I think, is worth it. And I've also been siding the Nexus in grindy matchups, and I've liked it. I've liked doing that. Hard to mulligan a Force of Negation against Adnaz, but the mana is pretty bad here. We also don't have a Teferi. I think I'm gonna mulligan. I like to mulligan mediocre hands in good matchups. Did I not play during Onslaught block? I did not. My first... I played one FNM before the Return to Ravnica pre-release, but I really had no idea what was going on. My real first event was the Return to Ravnica pre-release. I barely understood how Magic worked at my first FNM. Alright, let's keep this. I think I'm putting back Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Just keep that answer to the Abolisher in my hand. And if it pays off, great. And if it doesn't, then we're probably winning anyways. Turn 1 Lotus Bloom. If we can find a Teferi Time Raveler in the first 3 draws, then we'll get to stop that from ever coming down. Good morning, Michael. So I think because Teferi is just so good to draw here, I'll probably cycle Shark Typhoon for 0 end of turn. If I don't need to bolt. Oh, I guess I can't bolt the Abolisher, because when it's in play, can't do anything. Huh, I wonder if they just hold the Abolisher until they're going off. They probably do. It is like 2 extra mana that they need. I'll certainly be fighting my opponent on mana, I think. Oh wow, we found one. If they have a Force of Negation plus, or Pact of Negation plus Angel's Grace, they usually fire it off in spots like this. I guess they could also have double Spirit Guide. Are they going to... They're going to... Spoils probably looking for Angel's Grace. They could just die here. Spoils is such a cool card. So weird. They'd never print a card like that these days. They name Angel's Grace and it's just a couple cards down. I think I am going to force this Lotus Bloom. I don't think that... It's going to be hard to play Jace. If they have the Lotus Bloom mana, even with a Force of Negation, because they can go off at instant speed. So I'm going to try to deny them some mana here. It's obviously really bad if they have a Veil. Rabbi, 2 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate ya. I'm glad I can keep you entertained at work. So they basically force of willed. We force of willed. Opponent has 3 mana here. Why not force spoils? They cast it on our turn, so it wasn't can't force on your turn. Okay, I'm gonna save that for a potential Mystic Sanctuary, I think. Or just shuffle with Jace next turn. Could die here. It's not super likely. They only have 3 cards in their hand, so they would need a pretty specific combination of cards, like either land, guide, Grace ad nauseum, or spoils, Grace, Thassa's Oracle. So let me brain. Maybe I just want to guarantee having a Force of Negation up, so let me actually instead do this, where I Wildfire my Flagstones and then Mystic Sanctuary back Force of Negation. Interesting draw. And then Brainstorm, of course. Alright, so we should be just in excellent shape from here on out. I don't hate remanding this. Opponent seems to be holding priority though. Why doesn't Adnaz play 3 mana Teferi? Great question. That's probably a pretty... Seems maybe better than Abolisher. I mean, Abolisher being a creature is a pretty big deal. I have not watched Boruto. Check up as big of a fan of Naruto as I am. The Boruto just doesn't really appeal to me all that much, I guess. Weird that they just are holding priority here. Not sure what's going on. What's my playlist today? I just kind of I've been letting YouTube just kind of cycle through stuff I usually listen to. Right now I think I'm listening to the Samurai Champloo opening. How do you keep priority on MCGO? You hold the control button as you cast a spell. Well, I'm gonna grab a Tums real quick while my opponent comes back. So I'm just gonna restart Magic Online, see if this is on my end. Yeah, 3 minutes of Fairy seems like kind of legit in Adnaz. Morning Blitz. Yeah, I think this deck is good. Bolts, not bolts. I've been really liking it a lot. I guess this is like the deck I'm on, whatever, for a tournament, but always doing other brewing and tweaking and stuff. I definitely have been in a real brewing mood the last 2 days. Like this Jeskai Flames deck is. I think it's very cool, and I think it's kind of good. I decided to add a Gaia's Blessing in that 15th sideboard slot. We can actually cast it with the Triome, which is kind of cute. But Mill seemed like a tough matchup, surprisingly. At least you don't dispute. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we just let this resolve. I just want to finish this game. Yeah, Stormcaller really impressed me. You know, it's definitely. You can play Snapcaster in a wider array of decks, and Stormcaller just straight up doesn't work with counter spells, which is one of the best things that Snapcaster plays with. Snapcaster Remand, Snapcaster Archmage Charm, Snapcaster Cryptic Command. But I was really impressed with Stormcaller Tribal Flame, Stormcaller Bolt, Stormcaller Helix. I liked the card. I thought it was solid. You probably can't afford to play too many more than 2 in this exact list, but I'd be looking to, maybe find the best shell for this card. I'm not sure what that shell is right now. Do you want 2 Gaia's Blessing for Milner? I think you just want 1. The problem with playing 2 is if they surgical 1, they get both. So if you wanted to play 2, you would split it up with 1 Gaia's Blessing, 1 Kozilek or something. Surely our opponent's timing out soon. What is this? Oh right, this is one of my many attempts to put together. I've been thinking a lot about Sunforger and Nahiri. I really think that there's something here. I just can't crack the code. But you just have a Sunforger, and every turn you plus Nahiri, and Nahiri also finds your Sunforger sometimes if you play more than one. You just plus Nahiri every turn, and then you get to Sunforger every turn for 2 mana. There's something there, but I do feel like there's some tension because you have to play Nahiri, and you have to play all these equipments, and you obviously have to play creatures to go with your equipment, and then you have to play Sunforger targets. It's kind of a cute Sunforger target. Yeah. This list is definitely. I don't even think this is my latest attempt, but this list is not good. I think there is a Maul here though. And I kind of think that maybe Wildfire Flagstones is good to get you to Nahiri in this deck. I'm not sure. Yeah, I saw the Marty Sunforger deck. It's just so hard because I feel like the more Sunforger targets you play, the more unkeepable hands you're gonna have because you have all these clunky cards. So you just play the lean, just lean helixes and bolts and a path or 2. Maybe 1 Boros Charm. Valakut's Awakening is pretty interesting. Because it's a little, the tension is a little less there because you just play it as a land a lot. Opponent's playing a Lurrus deck. Got a mulligan this hand. Can keep this one. I'll put back the second Force. Double Helix is usually pretty good against Lurrus. Yeah, the Brewer's Graveyard. Manamorphose is good with the Sunforger stuff. I mean, it's okay. I don't really feel like it accomplishes all that much. Just kind of, it cycles, which is nice. It's not nothing. So they're gonna Scourge me. And I will kill the Scourge. I think I want to Helix them. We often win this game by burning them out. A -2, -2. The best card in Modern from Zendikar. They just put Lurrus into their hand. They haven't shown us a Bauble yet. I'd be kind of inclined to force a Bauble if I draw just an island. I did draw an island. Yeah, I think Lava Dart's fine in this deck. You play a lot of Prowess guys. Lava Dart's really good. Yeah, I think a happily enough Exile Cling to Dust. Force is not great in this matchup, so every time you just get to like hard cast it in 1-for-1, even getting the exile value sometimes. Oh no, they have 2. I think you're usually happy. Yeah, Jeskai is just kind of good at Modern again. It's been a long time since I felt this way. Alright, got shot by Shark. That's a 2-for-1, baby. So we have, you know, we can Helix him in the Mystic Sanctuary back Helix if we can play around Cling. No rush on that, of course. Alright, that's 9 points of damage. So if they deal 2 to themselves, their proverbial goose is cooked. Alright, man, Bobble's kind of obnoxious. Just turns Luris into so much card advantage. I think we path Luris here. I want to save the burn for them. I think I might actually bolt them here. It's kind of bad if they have a shadow, but it's good if they draw a Thoughtseize, then they're just dead. I'll hold that. How's the deck been? I think this deck is really good. I've been doing well with it. Second Mountain is really good to make note of here. These decks usually play 1 mountain, 1 swamp, so maybe they're playing a 3rd basic. It's a really bad draw. Is Wildfire really that good, or is Jeskai always pretty good? Jeskai was not always pretty good. I do think Wildfire is that good. Yeah. Wildfire is like really what I think is making Jeskai playable again. Only play 1 Sanctuary. Seems hard to do. I use the path instead of the burn spell because I'm trying to I was trying to burn them out because we effectively had like 9 points of burn because we could fetch for a Mystic Sanctuary and get back a burn spell Panda. But then we drew the Mystic Sanctuary. We also drew I think 3 lands in a row. So it definitely didn't work out very well, but that's why. Kind of thought they had another Scourge that they'd play here, but they don't. They can't quite. Oh, they can't Cling. I was thinking they could sack. They could dart and then Cling, but they can't. Another land. Can I draw a Jace, please? I played this so I didn't have to fetch to cast Helix. I think though just holding the Tarn is good enough for Jace. I'm gonna Helix this with Spear at this point. It's nice. It's also nice that it gets us up to 20. Not that they're gonna have a hard time getting us below 20. Blanks any mutagenic growth that they might have in their hand with the Teferi. They might just dart the Teferi. Yeah, them drawing the Bobble was such a huge swing for them. Also, the second Cling to Dust. Big bummer. Kolaghan's command to return Swift Spear and kill Teferi and play Soulscar Mage. So I think while my opponent has Cling to Dust in their graveyard, I'm supposed to just snap Helix the Mage. Which is like an okay swing, but we need to draw a big Planeswalker, a Cryptic Command, Shark Typhoon, something to generate real card advantage. Got to keep in mind that we can pick up this with Cryptic Command if we draw one. Suppose they might just like mutagenic growth to save this. I'm okay if they double dart. Don't you want to path it? He has 2 darts. I think that I want a Helix. I think I'm okay just making both darts get used. You still get to gain 3. Maybe I'm wrong about that. It's within a bit. They're gonna escape a cling. No, I think they value the not being at less than 6 or 6 or less. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was my thought process. Right, there's a Scourge. Is this the time where we just start counting all the lands we've drawn to point out how unlucky we were? Probably a mistake to play the Plains, actually, because we're trying to draw Jace. This is Magic, though. Just another Modern Monday. Fran, I think you don't have enough lands in your deck, Spike. I think you need to play more lands. Opponent's drawn a lot of lands, too, but... Is it Wednesday already, really? How has Tribal Flames been with just the 3 land tribes? This is not a Tribal Flames deck, and it's weird. You're not the first person to think that I am playing Tribal Flames in straight Jeskai. I don't understand why anyone would do that, but I'm not. I had the Abzan Triome in my deck yesterday. The Abzan Triome, pretty good. And then, why would anybody play Tribal Flames in that deck? I don't know. Cycle of Jeskai Triome. How do we draw? We just drew more lands. I don't know, man. This is wild. Get out of the way, I guess. Garbroth, 8 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate ya. You're having a good day today. Did you want me to say bad? The Tribal Flames is really bad. You can only deal 3 damage with it. I don't know. There must be something better. The deck list is outdated. Oh, you're right. But also in that deck list we have Abzan Triome. But I thought I updated the Stream Decker. Let me see what I can do about that. Kind of don't hate playing like 1 Lantern. I'm playing Lantern today for the Oopsal Spells deck. This card breaks up their combo pretty well. Okay, deck list should be up to date in the Stream Decker. Oh, I did not mean to have Mystical Dispute. Oh, damn it. I want a Third Gust instead. You showed me yesterday with Eternal Command featuring 3. Awesome. Yeah, I was kind of messing around with that this morning. Oh, cool. This is the deck list. I was thinking about like maybe switching to 60 cards. Playing Walls. And maybe cutting the Aether Vial and just being an Ephemerate deck. But I'll probably put the Vials back in. Or like maybe 3 Vials. I'm not sure. But cool. Awesome. You think the deck is cool? Mulligan. Just another Modern Monday. So not a bad mull to 5. Just like this mulligans you once, assuming they don't Thoughtseize me on turn 1. I'd love to be able to bolt a 1-mana creature, then go Wildfire on turn 2. Okay, probably not getting Thoughtseize. Nice. Could maybe turn 3 Jace. Okay, turn 3 Jace on a mull to 5 in Jeskai. Pretty cool. Can get a Prairie stream with this. If they bolt me and then they play Scourge, we can just bolt the Scourge. They don't have black mana, maybe. Is our Thursday filled up with stuff? The donation queue is actually empty. Although there's one guy who says he's going to donate for like this cool Luminous Broodmoth deck. But it is currently empty. I'm just going to main phase bolts. So we can hold up Snap Bolts. Thoughts on Bolt Snap Bolt before Jace? Yeah, definitely not playing the Jace into the Swift Spear. Wow, sack a Sunbait Canyon. They might be missing black mana. Kind of seems like that's the case. Let me get a Hallowed Fountain here. Keep the Prairie Stream in the deck. I think I'm plussing Jace. They've already cast 2 lightning bolts, actually. Yeah, they've already cast 2 bolts. If they have a third one, we're still getting a 2-for-1. Lava Dart Jace, awesome. Deal. They found black mana, so I imagine a Scourge is getting cast. 5/5 for 2 mana. Pretty good. Kolaghan's commands. Return Swift Spear and kill Jace. Deal. 7 months Scrub Dog. It's crazy. Time's really flying. I also have no sense of time. I think I want to Cryptic the Swift Spear this turn. Like maybe like Cryptic Swift Spear, Path Scourge. Something like that. Snap Cryptic next turn. Has Grixis Death Shadow been playing Scourge? It has not, and I don't think that it's good in Grixis Shadow. It's like you need to be able to deal damage to your opponent directly, which Grixis Death Shadow is really bad at doing, and often doesn't attack until turn 3 or 4 for the first time. And if your only threat is Scourge, like you can just never, get that ball rolling. Hope that we don't flood out as badly as we did last game. Uh-oh. So we get Mystic Sanctuary Path to deal with that. I guess I was supposed to do it earlier to play around a top deck Cling to Dust. Kind of playing a bit of a staring contest here. Got a Helix before damage, otherwise we're just dead to both darts. I think Deflecting Palm is a little too cute. Deflecting Palm I've always disliked against, decks with Thoughtseize, like our opponent's deck is. Well, now we're taking 3. And we can't Mystic Sanctuary back Path lest we just lose. We have to have some series of draws here. Bummer. I think it's a good start. Deflecting Palm actually is good in the Sunforger deck. Yeah, it's good against Belcher too. Wow, and the Catalyst Warrior, there's one. I mean, there are some, but just like not the ones that work well with equipment is kind of the problem. Like if it could get like an Artificer or a Wizard, that'd be really cool. Does it make sense to run Boil in non-blue decks? Yeah, good question. So I think we're gonna see my favorite mode on Cleansing Wildfire, which is get yourself a Plains. Now Wildfire is good in this matchup. The new 2-mana Intimidator could see some Pioneer play. Maybe. I kind of feel like 1 toughness is a little loose. They blow up my Plains, we're in bad shape. Sadly, we don't get the Flagstones trigger either because of Blood Moon. But you still have to legend rule Flagstones if 2 of them are in play underneath Blood Moon, so I still like blowing up Flagstones here. Grim Flayer's Warrior, I don't think that card's that good. They don't have double red. It's pretty notable. Interesting. Interesting. That can give them double red. So I think that I'd like to... We could Teferi plus... No. Teferi plus... Yeah. Is good against Bloodbraid Elf. But they would have casted Bloodbraid, I think, if they had one. I guess we don't have double red here. Because I kind of want Wildfire, my own thing. I think I like Teferi. It's going to be really hard for them to put 3 Devotion into play. And then next turn we can minus the Teferi kind of effectively. This is also good against like them having Pillage, because then we have the Teferi in play. We can maybe just bounce the moon. Taji, 6 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate ya. We are halfway there. They're targeting the Wildfire, which says they don't need the mana from Klothys. So maybe they have Glorybringer. They have Spyro. They have exactly... No, they can't even cast Wrenn and 6. I guess another just 1 mana Accelerant does it. They discarded Pillage. I'm really surprised they didn't want to pillage my planes. And they're attacking me and not Teferi. Yeah, I don't really understand most of what just happened here. No, it really is my impression that Teferi is very good against Ponza. We are restricted on our red mana. It's kind of funny against Blood Moon. I think I want to go Tarn, Bolt, Snap Bolt, and probably just plus Teferi again. I think I'm bolting the Arbor Elf main phase, basically, no matter what. Oh no, Klothys. Alright, now I think we're kind of priced into bouncing the Klothys then. Yeah, I know we could tap the Wild Flagstones and bounce Blood Moon and Wildfire, but I think we need to interact with the board more this turn. I think that we were supposed to No. There's not a window to bolt the Arbor Elf where we can deprive them of the mana and also stop Klothys. Although maybe we're just supposed to respond to the Klothys trigger on the bolt. Maybe that's just like totally fine. I think I could maybe buy that. I'll keep Teferi's loyalty high. I think that we're pretty interested in getting a second bounce off Teferi. So they have Klothys and 3 unknowns. They did pillage the plains, so we're going to have to fight really hard to be able to bounce this. Could maybe... Nah, it's still too late, but we could have maybe tapped a land with Wildfire here. If they pillage my island, although we can just Wildfire the island in response. A new hidden mode on Wildfire. Yeah, Typhoon's pretty good here. Just like we always discover new Splinter Twins, we're always discovering new modes for cleansing Wildfire. Okay, so we get to bolt that. We can also make a Shark and block. I think that the Shark's gonna be better down the line. So we need a 3rd blue if we want to Cryptic the Blood Moon on the way down. So I think I'm supposed to Wildfire. I think I'm actually targeting Flagstones. Even though we don't get the value, we can get Prairie Stream with this Scalding Tarn, and then our mana's good. Thank you, Teferi, for raveling all of the fun my opponent may have been having. Could have maybe tried to keep Teferi around for a turn, but it's just so bad if they draw a bolt and we can never unlock Cryptic, I think. We know Klothys and we don't know any other card, I think. I think we Cryptic Command Klothys. We just have Force of Negation for Blood Moon now. Would love to draw a land, of course. Typhoon's not the worst. Oh, with the Blood Moon, of course, of course. Yeah, knowing about the... we have Force of Negation for Blood Moon, and I want to hit my land, so I'll Jace Brainstorm here. And we have double Force up now. What do I want to pitch? Probably a Remand and a Snapcaster, Remand and a Shark Typhoon, Shark Typhoon and a Snapcaster. I suppose I'll just give myself kind of the options here. Maybe they'll pillage my flagstones. Morning, Zamboni. Yeah, I think Remand is the first pitch, and I don't think it's super likely we need to force twice, but I think it's also good to have it up here. You think putting back Helix? Maybe that's good. Yeah. I mean, we have all the options kind of either way, but I see what you're saying. Nice to be able to Helix this ooze. So I don't think we know any spell for sure that they have because we forced the Blood Moon. Probably was worth thinking about Stamp Wildfire to shuffle. Yeah, maybe. We also get to, of course, get that value. Don't hate that. I think we really wanted to Helix the ooze though. So they have, a Klothys and a mystery card. If the mystery card is a land, they replay the Klothys, and then they're top decking. Seems like... Oh, I guess they also have this. Yeah, donation leagues are 30. And the queue is open, although we've had some people talking about donating for it. But if you are interested and you want to have your deck played tomorrow, for $30, I'll play your list. If there's anything like super... glaringly obvious that I think needs to be changed, we usually talk about it, but that doesn't happen very often. It's usually a pretty good time. 99% of the time, it's a pretty good time. $40 for me to build a brew for you. I just want to get my third basic here. Hardcast the Typhoon. Yes, an open queue. How does Jeskai have better or worse matchups versus decks like Jund? Better or worse compared to what deck? And I don't think the Jund matchup is bad. I also like Jund is not a very big presence in Modern at the moment. Is another thing to talk about. All right, I hate Jace against Ponza. Usually trim on rebands as well. I'm also not super high. I'm not super high on Helix in this matchup. Maybe I like Remand more than Helix. I think Paths and Bolts are fine. I would probably cut the fourth Bolt if I had one, but I think 3 is kind of the sweet spot. Bolt is not that good against anything besides Arbor Elf. What happens to Tron decks, though? I played against more than 50% of my matches against Tron yesterday. Tron is definitely around. So we can play... 1 Jace, 1 Verdict, 1 Helix. I was playing an Anger of the Gods in this matchup, but I've cut it today for a Lantern. Alright, pretty light same. Not my deck, just haven't gotten to see a little bit of a while, so a league with Ant, hell yeah, dude. Thanks, Pretty Lights. It's a treat for me. I'm gonna play 1 Dovin's Veto. So it's nice start to Donation Deck Thursday with some Legacy. I haven't played Ant in a while. Let me look at and see what my last list was. I don't know if there's gonna be too many changes. Yeah, this was my last list. I'll definitely revisit it and see maybe if I see any tech other people are playing that I like, but I usually stay pretty similar because I just am very familiar with the strategy with this 75. So that's first donation slot filled. I think we keep this on the draw on a mole to 6. Obviously this hand has weaknesses, but if you draw a land and they play a Sprawl, Wildfire is really good. If they play an Elf, we have a Bolt. Obviously we need to draw a land. Oops. But we're on the draw. We're likely to draw a land. I think it's better than going to 5. Ant is ad nauseum tendrils. That's what the T stands for, tendrils. I think this is fine. I think this is fine. I think it kind of has to be fine, you know? I'm going to hold up Remand here. You might make me play Test next week. I'd be down. Although it's kind of funny. I know it's a bit of a meme at this point. Every time I play Ant, I have all the Test fanboys come into the chat. Why do you prefer Ant to Test? I'm just a boomer, guys. I'm just a boomer. I'm set and stuck in my ways. Can't I be a boomer about some decks? Okay. I think we're probably going to hold up Snap Remand here. Get some pressure going. Cindervines is definitely scary, although it very notably has no targets for its sacrifice mode. Your favorite Legacy deck is Tess, and my roommate plays Ant. That's awesome. My old roommate and I both played Ant, so we would just like... We used to play Legacy every night. It was awesome. Back when we were young and had just, tons of free time. I think I'm going to plus Teferi here. Then bounce the Cindervines next turn. Hey, Gumbox. Well, this was a really good keep, though. I think we kept a 1-lander and hit every land drop. Yeah, every land drop so far. Just like an absolute pro. Haven't even need to cycle these yet. Could have maybe upkeep Cleansing Wildfire. I don't think that that's very necessary. I'm gonna remand this Force. They didn't play a red source last turn, or say this Bolt, so I don't think that they have another one. And if they do, we can maybe draw a blue source. Interesting. Kind of like draw stepping, killing both Stomping Grounds, and if they just don't have, if they don't draw an untapped red, they can't cast anything this turn. Yeah, I would have mulliganed this hand if it was a 7-card hand, but I think on 6 it was a good keep. Well, maybe I just hold up Cryptic now. Yeah, I think I'm down to hold up Cryptic. It's not like the Wildfire is going to be bad next turn. Oh, they're doing nothing? It's fine, I can deal with nothing. Nothing is very beatable. Oh, shit. Fair enough. Sorry, I thought we had enough islands. I don't know why they did nothing, though. Still in really good shape. Opponent giving me the friendly GGs. So Perfect Plat, sorry I missed your question. What are Tess and Ant? Tess and Ant are the two main Storm variants of Modern. Tess is, usually the way people describe them is Tess is faster, and it plays Burning Wish, and usually Wish Claw Talisman, where Ant usually plays Infernal Tutor and Dark Petition, but Tess often plays Infernal Tutor too. And Tess is really just trying to be faster, more explosive, and Ant usually plays a slower game that's trying to disrupt the blue counter spells with its own discard spells. And Tess usually plays no discard spells, but this day, these days they play Veil of Summer in the main. But that's usually the main difference is Ant is fine waiting until they know for sure they can go off, and Tess is just trying to kill you as quickly as possible. That's usually the kind of beginner explanation. We lost to Red-Black Scourge, kind of flooded out. You honestly can't tell the difference in deck list. I really do feel like the printing of Veil of Summer has kind of homogenized Tess and Ant a little bit. Like, they're closer than they've been maybe ever. Playing against Ponza again, twice in a row. Interesting. Very interesting draw. I think I just want a Wildfire, so next turn I can Helix plus Remand. So I'm going to get a basic plains off of the Wildfire trigger, and then maybe a basic island off of the Flagstones trigger. Oh, whoops. Did that wrong. Yeah, duh. So I guess we have to get Triome. We get to get Triome, really. Yeah, Tarask, whenever you're ready to post your deck attack redemption in chat, I'm ready for you. I read we should always bolt the bird. I don't think bolting the bird is bad here, but like even if they go Blood Moon, we get to go Helix plus hold up Remand. I think that's good against most of their turn 2s here. Just also getting the plains in play is pretty nice. I think we're lagging. It's supposed to be what this little swirl means. It's a very rough deck list. Well, an excellent time. Tap out Grixis. That is a deck title. Tap out Grixis. Stormcaller, Pyro, Bonecrusher, Luris, Bloodchief, Cling, Inquisition, Bolt, Serum Visions, Unearth, Village Rites. I like the idea. I like the idea of this deck. One thing is I think that you can't really just play 4 Inquisitions in Modern anymore. There's just like Primeval Titan's too good, I think. I think that you have to play a split of Thoughtseize and Inquisition. I probably would be playing like... You have Luris in the main deck. I might even play 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Inquisition, something like that. I like the 1 Village Rites. I don't think I'd play too many more than 1. You might be able to get away with 21 lands in this deck with 4 Bobble, 4 Serum Visions, and curving out at 3. It's kind of scary. Yeah, I think you have... Probably not. 22 seems better. Can maybe play... Maybe cut one Unearth for the 5th 1-mana discard spell, which I think you need. Like, you seem really soft to big mana decks. Maybe have the 4 Thoughtseize in the sideboard. Probably 4 Wildfire in the sideboard for big mana. I really like this idea. I will say I don't like Brutality very much right now. I think Brutality is not that good against Prowess, and people just aren't playing... people aren't playing, you know, more traditional... burn decks, so I think that I would probably be playing. I've often liked extra copies of Unearth in your sideboard of these decks. For those matchups, maybe like the 3rd copy of Bloodchief's Thirst for the Prowess decks, but I don't think Brutality is the way to beat them. I'm also like really low on Engrass Rampage in Modern, kind of in general. But maybe it's better than I give it credit for. I think I'm just gonna snap. Oh, so they exiled my Wildfire. Okay, so let's hold up snap then. It's a good exchange for us. What time? Oh no, they didn't even let me hardcast my Shark Typhoon. So this is how I sideboarded last time. I think I'm pretty content with it. Although seeing Scavenging Ooze kind of makes me want to play 1 Helix over 1 Veto. So I guess we can try that. Just so scared of Boil, though. What happened to traditional burn? It was pretty good in the Astrolabe meta. Well, modern waxes and wanes and is maybe something. You know, modern waxes and wanes. Prowess is really good right now. It also got the card specifically, Scourge of the Skyclaves. I do think, you know, makes Prowess really, really good. Not that it was also really good before then, but there's lots of just cheap recursive card advantage engines that Prowess can take advantage of. And I'm not saying that Burn is going to be forever replaced by Prowess, but Prowess has been pretty dominant over Burn for a while. Modern is definitely... There are definitely ebbs and flows, though. There's got to be a list with Vivian's Advocate Beast. I do like that card a lot. I think it's pretty good. However, 5 mana is a lot for Modern. I've always liked the idea of that card in the sideboard of Coco decks. However, Coco decks for a while have been playing Lurrus as their companion, and so there's some tension there. But I do like that card a lot in the sideboard of Lurrus decks to fight fair matchups. Triomes are wild. It's a great draw. So now if they play a turn 2 Blood Moon, we can fetch a Plains. We also, if they're on Pillage, just not giving them a target for their Pillage. I actually prefer Luca to Viviana and Elves. This is something I was messing. I don't think I ever streamed with this deck, but I posted about it on the Discord, I think. Also, I will say that Magus of the Moon is wrong in this deck. It needs to be Blood Moon because of Luca. But you're an Elves deck that curves out at 2, and then you Luca any 2-drop and you get a Craterhoof Behemoth, and then you get to play some red sideboard cards too. I won some matches with this deck. That's about all I got to say about that. Feels boosted, man. Thank you for your Twitch Prime. Love to see those games. Welcome. Yeah, I think it's pretty good in spots like this to just, if you can afford to not give your opponent a pillage target, can sometimes stumble them, and obviously we're wanting to get basics too. What is the most degenerate combo deck in Neoform? Is it still Neoform? I'd probably say maybe the Oops All Spells deck. Neoform is still a little faster, although the Oops All Spells can win on turn 1, but you need like 3 Simian Spirit Guides and an untapped land and a Spy or Enforcer or Informer. Can win on turn 1, which is pretty powerful for Modern. But what's good about that deck is it just ignores Force of Negation, which is really, really powerful for, you know, as you put it, a degenerate combo deck. So I think I'm going to bolt this Bloodbraid Elf and then untap and plus Teferi. Just ban both of them, please. I personally am not like too bothered by their existence in Modern. I think that banning either combo would be a pretty significant shift in the Modern ban list philosophy, where you actually are banning cards based on how unfun they are to play against. And I'm not saying that forever you should have that philosophy, but it would be a shift. And like if Allosaurus Rider or Simian Spirit Guide get banned, it feels like other cards like Uro are on the table to get banned if they're just banning things because they're specifically and popular. And you know, most players would view them as unfun, and I think that fun is a very subjective thing. But if you're banning a card because it's uninteresting and uninteractive, all of a sudden there are other cards that are on the watch list. I mean, I really feel like the obvious ban, if you just want to forever stop decks like that, is it's just Simian Spirit Guide, right? Like, Simian Spirit Guide has forever and always been so nice to stop the Cascade. Simian Spirit Guide has really been, you know, what enables these like turn 1 combo decks to exist, and they just can't exist without it. So let's snap Bolt while my opponent can't stop me with Relic. Is Oops All Spells new to Modern? It is new with there have been some variants, but the problem is like they're really, really bad and actually slow because you have to like play like 3 basics and search them up. But Oops All Spells now gets to play the Zendikar lands, which are not lands in the library. So it's you actually get to play lands in Oops All Spells, which is powerful. What about Simian Spirit Guide in Red Prison? I mean that deck has not been good for a while, in my opinion. I would probably consider that deck to be relatively fair, I guess. Yeah, that's true. Triple Chancellor can enable a turn 1 kill for Neoform. I actually think double Chancellor does it sometimes. Stop banning mana acceleration because someone misuses it. It's kind of an interesting take. I don't know what misusing it means. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not advocating for a Simian Spirit Guide ban. I personally feel like oops all spells, and I think I want to counter this. This opponent brought in Cindervines too. I'm not sure how good this card is, just as like an Eidolon. You know, I think Modern is about as good as it's ever been right now. It's very fun and diverse and interesting. It's changing a lot. The fast combo decks are present, but they don't feel overly dominant or overly powerful, and I don't really feel like there are any problems in Modern that need addressing at the moment. In fact, I've also seen, like, it really feels like on Twitter there's this prevailing attitude that Uro is like just dominating Modern, but that has not been my experience at all. And I just like there are Uro decks that are fine, but I really don't feel like they are in any way dominant in Modern, really. I just don't play against them very much, and like cost is definitely a factor there, I suppose, but even when I play against them, they just don't really feel like that crazy good, you know? The Sun-Dried Kiwi, 3 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate ya. I do think the Astrolabe ban was really, really needed to keep those decks in check, and I think it has. Yeah, I 100% agree that the Uro decks are annoying, but you are right that it's a very subjective argument. But like Remand is making a comeback. Like I've been casting Geist of Saint Traff lately. Humans is good for your metric there. Do I think a rogue or fairy deck is possible in Modern? I will say that it is usually not a good way. You know, if you're trying to figure out what is good in Modern, it's not usually a good idea to approach it by wanting like your favorite tribe to be good, if that makes sense. Where, you know, I want rogues or fairies to be good, so I'm going to try to play I'm just going to try to build a rogue or fairy deck. Like, usually what makes a deck good in Modern is you find a new or interesting interaction that people are not currently or have not been taking advantage of, and, you know, exploit that interaction in some way. So if there's something interesting about rogues or fairies that's new or powerful or unique that hasn't been tried, then yes, but I'm not sure what you know that would be. Do I think the lanterns are good? Yeah, the lanterns are specifically good against the Oops All Spells combo, which is why I'm playing them. I just snap Remand this. Yeah, no double red is kind of tough here. I agree. No, they have Blood Moon, Pillage, and Cindervines in their hand. No every card. It's kind of nice. Cool. If they pillage again, we can Wildfire the land they pillage if we want to. Or we can just Wildfire our Flagstones. So we know their hand. If we Wildfire this forest, yeah, this makes it to where they can only cast one spell. I think that's probably good. In response to you targeting your forest, blow it up and draw a card. So now they get to play one spell. I think I'd let Pillage resolve. I'd probably force any other. If it's either the Cindervines or the Blood Moon, I'd probably force either one. Maybe the Blood Moon is fine. You get to play this without paying life. Might want to hold it. Yeah, I kind of want to force. Yeah, I think we can just kind of ignore this for now. Or bounce it with the Teferi next turn. Their hand is, again, Pillage and Cindervines. It's a good draw. So we can't Gust Snap Gust. think we're just attacking for 2 and passing. Teferi is so good in this matchup. It's like really maybe your most important card. The more and more I play this matchup, the more I'm impressed by it. The fact that they have all these 3-mana enchantments. It's good against Cascading Bloodbraid Elf. It's good against their 5-mana creatures. It also like makes them boil at instant speed. Yeah, gusting the moon and then snap gusting is maybe something we can do. Oh, it's definitely something we can do. Maybe we should have played this as a land. Thoughts on the new Rakdos Shadow deck? I think that deck is probably the deck to beat in Modern right now. I'm pretty high on it. We could Gust the Moon and then Cryptic the Cindervines here. Kind of like that. So force up. Snap Gust next turn. I think Pillage just resolves. It's fine. I'll lose an island. No biggie. So we get to bounce Klothys. Could Mystic Sanctuary Cryptic first. I don't love that since I really want to play my second Teferi. Maybe we could have Mystic Sanctuary Gust instead. I don't think we need to. Having a good morning, Future. Thanks for checking in. So I believe we know they have Blood Moon and Klothys in their hand. This card is very remandable. Now, I haven't been super high on Remand in this matchup in the past, but maybe the card is really good. It's like bad against Bloodbraid Elf, but it's good against like a lot of their 3-drops and 5-drops. We drew the Cryptic Command before we even Sanctuaried it. I'll take 2 of those. 2 0-ing Ponza twice in a row makes me feel really good about the matchup. And it's really nice to have a control deck where you just feel confident in the Ponza matchup. And what is the card that makes me feel confident? Cleansing Wildfire, of course, because it blows up their sprawled lands and it fixes our mana underneath the Blood Moon. And ramps us against their pillage sometimes. Sadly, we don't have a Wildfire in this hand. Good mulligan, I think. I think that Nexus of Fate. Well, I don't know if Nexus of Fate is the best mill answer, but I'm mostly playing it because I think that the card is also something you can bring in other matchups besides mill, where you can't really bring in Kozilek. And I haven't lost a game having against mill while Nexus of Fate has been in my deck, whatever that's worth. When you watch it 2 months in a row, a player can subscribe to Spike at any time. A player who subscribes to Spike joins the game immediately. That player wins the Twitch game. Love it. Thanks, dude. Playing the mirror? Maybe. Yeah, it's like Relic, but when it enters, it exiles a card from a graveyard, and then you can sack it to exile. For 0 mana, you can sack it to exile each card from your opponent's graveyard. Maybe Relic is better, but I don't think so. Kind of close. Kind of weird that they were just F6. Yeah, I think Nexus is good against the Euro decks. I also boarded it in against E-Tron, and I liked it there. Alright, we are playing the mirror. I don't think I've played the actual mirror yet. It's kind of cool. We're looking to be in good shape here. They also missed their second land, or their third land, rather. I think that's just smart, Simon, right? So you save on the shipping costs. I do the same thing. Yoshine 5 months in a row, money control. I do think those decks are fine. I haven't really seen a list I absolutely love, and I've tried to make a list I like, and there's also not one I really love either. Those decks have a really real cost in that they their mana is not good. Their mana is just is I may even go as far to say actively bad. Your 4-color deck with like multiple colorless lands and like very hard casting costs. I'm not sure if this is like the strat of the matchup, but seems good against the opponent who's like struggling to find their lands anyways. How is my real collection compared to my online collection? I used to have a very extensive like modern and legacy collection. Just had like I had a very extensive modern legacy collection a long time ago. I sold out and I am currently rebuilding. But I still have a lot of work to do before I'm done. I have to go to discard. Maybe the Uro decks would be better in Modern if people were just like less greedy with the mana bases. The mana bases that they currently play are so greedy. It's unreal. Yeah, I think maybe the 3-color Uro decks are just better. Like even like McWinsauce's like latest money tribal deck is playing only one Omnath. So like that point, is the 4th color even worth splashing for? I'm not sure. Don't want to get back a Wildfire. I think I'm just gonna get back a Remand. Yeah, I agree that they're, most Magic players at some point sell out. And that was definitely before I was a full-time e-boy Magic player guy. How do you stay competitive in Modern without playing Uro, Death Shadow, and staying within 400 ticks? Maybe this is bad, but I don't really know how many tickets most decks are worth, I guess. But I will say Uro is... I've been saying this lately, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, because every time I go on Twitter, I feel like I see somebody complaining about the dominance of Uro in Modern, but I am of the opinion that Uro is not well positioned in Modern at the moment. I haven't been very impressed by the Uro decks for a while. Is it possible to have a sealed deck turning through Twitch? I mean, anything's possible, but I don't think that's something I'd run personally. I'm not trolling. I really genuinely feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I haven't played much against the Uro decks lately, and when I do, I'm not that impressed by them. And I've played a bunch with Uro decks in general, although some of them are kind of bad. Some of them are definitely kind of bad. But I don't know. I'm just like not so enamored with them as it seems like everybody else is. Like they're definitely, you can win games with Uro, of course. Of course, Uro is a playable card in Modern, and of course there are, I'm sure, many good decks that play Uro. But it's like this like attitude that Uro is just this huge dominant force in Modern, and it's just like making all these other decks uncompetitive has just not been my experience at all. And I'm not sure where that mindset comes from. When was the last time I played Friday Night Magic? Probably like 5 years ago. Now, I wasn't, I would love to play FNM again. Now that I haven't played Paper Magic since GP Phoenix. But I just wasn't like really playing it very much before then either. I play a ton of Magic online, so usually like my casual outlets are games like D&D instead these days. I don't have a land to get with this Flooded Strand, so thankfully they didn't have another force. I think it's still good to play them out, just kind of like make them think you do have the lands. Why not wait until end of turn to Helix Jace? I don't play a Spell Snare in my list, but it's certainly possible our opponent does. So if they just find a land off Jace and play a land and then Spell Snare my Helix, it's so bad that I think hedging against that is worth it to Helix then. I know I didn't say anything. I just quietly, you know, I thank you. I appreciate. I like it when you guys ask me questions when I, you know, don't articulate because I don't always say what I'm thinking. But that was my thought process. Kind of play like 2 Bolt and 2 Helix. I think Lantern is better than Rest in Peace because like Rest in Peace shuts off Flagstones, which is kind of awkward. It shuts off your 4 Snapcasters and your Sanctuary. But what I really want these cards to do is stop the Oops All Spells combo. I think this card's good at doing that. Kind of hate this hand. I'm gonna mulligan. On the draw and the mirror. I like this hand. I'm going to keep on the draw and the mirror. I think we put back either Wildfire or Jace. Back the Wildfire. Fine draw. Do I think online Magic players would get stomped in a live Grand Prix? In my experience playing mini Grand Prix and much Magic Online, Magic Online is harder than most GP games in my experience. Like, Magic Online grinders are usually tougher than like day 1 of a GP. Maybe day 2 of a GP is tougher. You could argue that. But like, also the people grinding Magic Online are like, you know, historically have also played a lot of GPs, you know. But I think the best way to even get better at Magic is to play Magic Online a lot because the players are really good. I think we have to cycle Typhoon for 0 to try to hit a land. And it's like when you compare MTGO players to paper players, it's like how are you getting more experience as a paper player than an MTGO player, you know? Like, what is giving you an edge? Like, is your playgroup LSV? You know, do you just have personal access to Hall of Famers to playtest with? I'm just not sure how you get the edge as a paper player. I'm sure some people do. I'm not that lucky. Nice to hit 2 lands. I think we need to wait 1 more turn at least before we start jamming threats. Yeah, you do get the edge by subscribing to Aspiring Spike. That is true. Oh, they do have a land. Okay. I was pretty excited for a second there. We drew the land. Okay, now we have Remand up. I'm going to jam a Teferi and probably not fight if this gets countered. Do I play Ball of Famers? I have played against Hall of Famers. I actually have a pretty good record against them. I've beaten Eric Froelich, Jaeger Vegersma, Tom Martell. I lost to BBD. I think I'm missing a couple people. But yeah, I've played against a few Hall of Famers in my time. Also, I don't think I said Jaeger's name correctly, but it's okay, I think.
I have a funny story.
Okay.
Okay, you know the people that live all the way on the end with that big old pit bull that always barks at Athena?
Yes.
Well, there's a U-Haul there, and I think they moved out, and so there was either that or they were moving out. And we were at the very end, where their bedroom is, and I would always look at the window just to make sure that the dog isn't there, so if it is, I can pull Athena away. And as I was looking at the window, the girl just suddenly rolls up the blinds, and she gets scared that I'm there looking at the window, and then we both start laughing.
Well, yeah, I've played against Gabe, but I haven't played against Gabe in person, I guess, which I guess was what I thought we were talking about. That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's hard. It is funny. Okay. I'm telling you in a dry voice, it is funny.
It is funny.
That is funny.
Funny. Yeah.
I kind of want to snap Remand, but I think I'm going to Cryptic instead. I want to set up for a turn where I like Nexus of Fate end of turn. Although we probably have to force Remand here. And we probably have to force pitching Nexus. Is that true? Can we pitch Snapcaster? Can I get away with that? I think I can get away with this. It feels like I'm kind of just, feels like that was loose, but whatever. Life total's getting a bit low. They only have 2 cards in hand, and they like almost definitely don't keep in all the burn. Yeah, I've talked to Gab about this. I know other Gabriels in my life, and I call them Gabe, and he says he's fine being called Gabe. Maybe he's not, but it's just like a bad habit. Why not force Tef, get Cryptic remanded? Well, I want to resolve my Cryptic Command and just get the card draw. I think that's better. Now I really wish I had pitched the Nexus. So I think we're just going to have to cycle it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we can afford to just take 2 more and go to 3. I wasn't really reading my opponent on having a Force of Negation there, but maybe I should have. Alright, big jaw step. That is not terrible, maybe. I think I do bounce the snap. It's not like we're bouncing snap, of course. But they only have a Wildfire, like, right now. I'm not going to play that because they know this card, so we play this, they have perfect info. And again, just not being able to die to a bolt, I think, is good. Seems better to not bounce anything. Well, if we don't bounce anything, we lose the Teferi, and of course, Teferi is really nice. We don't die to bolt, snap bolt, we just force the bolt. We just let this resolve. Yeah. So we have Snapcaster, mystery card. They're playing the snap. Could maybe not bounce anything. If they spend an extra in snap crypticing, we force the cryptic. It's not the end of the world.
Look at these stickers that I got mailed to me.
They're gonna bolt me, so we need to force the bolt. I think. Hold on, I'm so sorry. What? Those are nice, baby. I see. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. I'm only playing 1 copy of Sanctuary because I think any more is maybe too bad with Flagstones. However, I think you could play 2nd Sanctuary in the place of the red mythic land. They drew another Snapcaster for turn. So let's draw the red mythic land and just kill both of these. Kind of quietly, the best draw. I mean, Jace into that is better. It's a Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god, it's a Lightning Helix. I need to make the soundboard. Maybe I'll work on that today.
A soundboard?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Esther, can I hear you say, oh my god, it's a Lightning Helix. Oh my god, I can't believe it. It's a Lightning Helix.
That's too long.
I think I Helix a snap here. The guys' small decks. I think we 3-2'd. I 3-2'd the first 2 leagues, and then we were 2-1. We were 2-1, and we dropped at 2-1 because I was like already an hour over the end time of the stream. And I needed to stop talking before I lose my voice. And I played one game. I got lunch, and I played one game off stream. I lost the game, and I realized I just needed to take a nap, and I dropped. So overall, 8-6 with the deck. No, 9-6. 8-6. 8-5. 8-5 with the deck. Where were you last turn? Isn't it odd the last turn they didn't use Snap to bolt? It's not odd because I exiled the bolts with Force of Negation. Alright, let me take the 2 here. There's not a big difference of being at 6 and being at 4. And they may play a Planeswalker for me to kill with this. You redeemed a Pet Athena? Oh, thank you, MM. What's that? I always get so overwhelmed when Esther is here. I can never keep up. Alright. Got a blanket keeping my toes warm. You cannot target your opponents with Shatterskull, so I think I'm just gonna draw a card. I also thought you could, but you can't. Yeah. When I first put it in the deck, I thought you could, but I think it's just been good enough just only being able to target other stuff. They're getting back a Wildfire, which I guess is a Stone Rain here. Seems fine. But this is our only double red card, so we'll just like cast it on this guy. What did I do before I was a full-time streamer? I was an IT guy. Feels like a whole lifetime ago. So we could, I guess we can't Snap Helix here. We could, if we could Snap Helix, we could Snap Helix and then pick up Snapcaster with Tef. I was more of a help desk kind of guy, but it wasn't exactly help desk. Did like some encryption management shenanigans. Did a lot of stuff. I think I don't want to be just cut off of red completely. Well, do I have another red source to fetch? There's a Sacred Foundry in the graveyard. There's a Steam Vents and a Triome. If they have like some big haymaker, we can probably deal with it if that's their last card, but I don't think it is. So I'll attack, I'll pick up my Snapcaster with Teferi. I think this has a Prairie stream to get. Just get that. Banefire for 8, gross. It's the Mirror Breaker, I guess. Ah, they're on the outdated list. This is their top deck for sure. I think I snap Force. Please pull my subs before I add a soundboard. So like go in the Discord and say what sounds people want to hear? Is that the suggestion? Seems like a reasonable thing to ask for. Probably shouldn't have tapped the mountain. As a non-sub, you vote against soundboard. I thought it'd be fun. I want the Randy Bueller Lightning Helix thing. It's like really the only thing, and like maybe some Esther quotes. Oh, whether people want a soundboard. I mean, I think it'd be fun. I really like Nassif's soundboard. I didn't feel like people strongly didn't want one, but of course, always happy to hear feedback. Wait, I probably do like that. Hey, can I ask you a question from Esther? I think that one's a classic. I would, you know, I feel like if I was going to do a soundboard, it would be just like a bunch of, you know, inside jokes from the stream that I could play when they became relevant. I appreciate the feedback for sure. Thank you, Deemzer, for the 2 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate ya. I didn't know people felt so strongly about soundboards. Alright, 4-1. Very cool. 1-3 when you land enters the battlefield, you gain a life.